welcome to Good Medicine. I love the dance. Good Medicine. Today is going to be a great show. It's going to be awesome because
Thank you.
Somebody came up with this fabulous idea out of nowhere. I don't know where it came from, but I love this idea. Listen to this. Health, healing, and happiness.
Also called Triple H.
Triple H.
Because it's a mouthful, I know that.
Health, healing, and happiness, all my favorites, all H's, love it. I'm Holly Davis, and I'm a therapist here in Las Vegas, and Good Medicine is all about good medicine. I'm not a medical doctor, however, I am a licensed practitioner, and I like to tell people about things that I use that make me healthy, and then I give them those tools as well. I share. I don't just keep it, I share with others. And that's what this program is about. And so I have a very special guest today, somebody who came up with health, healing, and happiness. So last week we actually talked about depression, and it was a hopeful show because we know that there's treatment available. There's things that we can do when we're down, when we have anxiety, when life hits us. And some things that we can do are we can run and hide, or we can call a friend, or we can mope, or we can get help. There's a lot of different things we can do. But I'm going to actually give you some go-tos. I'm going to give you a resource today. Health, Healing, and Happiness, Las Vegas 2015. It's a 4th annual conference. It's natural solutions for the whole body, mind, and spirit. And I love that. A holistic approach to health. And that's what I do. That's my approach when I work with people. And so my guest today is Ina Mohan.
Yes,
did
hello.
I pronounce that right?
You did, absolutely, Holly. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
being
here.
Yeah.
So where did you get the concept, health, healing, and happiness? What happened?
It was conceived a couple years ago, exactly 4 years ago, and I had 2 partners at the time, and we were trying to put on something that brings the whole holistic community together in Las Vegas, and it was ideally conceptualized as just a local event to bring in people that are interested in nutrition and fitness and spirituality and personal development. So we played around with names, and then I came up with this. And that stuck. We're going to trademark that as well because it's actually becoming so popular. But if you'd like to hear the backstory, Holly, I'm a certified chef originally. So I grew up in Germany for 30-something years. And when you are trained as a chef, you learn a lot about food, but you never make the connection between food and health. I never really connected the dots. I never had health issues, never had weight issues. So as a chef, food is all about how does it taste? How does it feel and smell? And you don't really care what it does inside your body because you really don't know. Not like doctors, they really don't know that either, which is interesting. Many years, and then I came into to the United States through my company being in hospitality software, and I was just starting to work with the Wynn. I was very highly involved in the Wynn opening. I was in charge for the software rollout, and being here in Las Vegas in a high demanding job, and my parents back home in Germany were both diagnosed with cancer. So my mother had been diagnosed with breast cancer, and then shortly after my dad with colon cancer. And I had to travel back and forth every couple of months because that's all I could do. And just see them wasting away, literally, And I had no idea what can be done for prevention or how you can heal naturally. We just, applied all the medical treatments that are available, which is chemotherapy and radiation and operation. And my mom passed on. And it was a huge catalyst for me because she was my best friend. I'm the only child, and she was just absolute and most important person in my life. And so that shook me awake, if you will. So I started thinking, there's got to have to be something else out there than just cutting yourself open, these invasive measures, taking drugs, burning your skin or cutting open, very, very invasive measures. So I started digging into nutrition, and when you do that, you open the floodgates. And what you find is life-changing, and then there's no way back. So I gave up my six-figure, highly paid corporate job a couple of years ago, and I started my own health and wellness business called Belsandia. And that morphed into becoming now the biggest health and wellness conference in town just a couple of years later. And my favorite part, Holly, is the fact that people are so responsive to that. And the concept of health, healing, and happiness is really because we know there's only portions of that is physical of health, which is nutrition and fitness. But there's a lot of emotional portions. We know, I think you're very familiar with that, we know that over 70% of all disease really start in the mind. They start in the way you're thinking, you're feeling, your self-worth, your self-talk, etc. And that was a little strange to me. But I think this concept brings in speakers from all these different angles, including personal development, which is also hugely important. And I'm just offering something for everybody. And I think that's the secret to it being such very, very popular now.
I think that's amazing. I'm marveling at that you turned your deepest, darkest tragedy and you could have been bitter, you could have been sad, you could have been down in a job that
And I
was
was.
and yes,
Yeah,
and we
very
all
much.
are, and those are real true feelings, and it's what we do with them that makes us or breaks us, and it's also what we do with them that we can actually contribute to others, and with the same, you know, realization and the same understanding and the same awareness that you received, you're willing to share that with others and even lay down the comforts, and because it was so important to you, and that's huge. That's where heroes, you know, really. And we don't have enough of those. I'm
Yeah.
going to say warriors. I like
Yeah.
to call them warriors
Yeah.
because
it's a
they don't just care-
mission. You know, it becomes a passion. It's like a white heat in your heart, which is a very, very, very strong drive. I firmly believe you do anything you do in life, you have a very strong purpose for doing it. Otherwise, you're not going to deliver, and you're not going to pull it through, and you're not going to be persistent in doing it. So you have a very strong why and very strong purpose. And that for me, I said, I'm not going to let anybody else go down on cancer on my watch or in my influence vicinity without knowing at least that there are over 400 holistic remedies available just for cancer alone. That there's so much they can do with prevention, which is the real health care, because everything else is really sick care. That they can actually reverse something if they already have a diagnosis. It's never too late. My opening speaker at the conference, I hope we touch on Brenda Cobb, because I'm a big fan of hers. She is a cancer victor for over 16 years. And I like to use the word victor because it sounds so much better than survivor, because she thrives. She's cancer-free from breast cancer and cervical cancer for over 16 years using nutrition and emotional healing. And this is just something people need to learn about, that it's possible. What they do with the information after, it's up to them. But I love to be the connector, the communicator, bring the remedies about, and then people can choose and pick and hopefully walk away with very much empowerment. And the thank you messages that I get every year, they fill my heart with joy. I think that's why I do it, right after the conference, all these letters and posts, and people are grateful. And that's just a feeling that you cannot describe. That's makes it all worth it, the 20-hour days.
It's fulfilling. It's fulfillment. And the major part of that fulfillment is you're doing something that resonates within you, that's you're passionate about, that shook your life, that you changed it and turned it around to be able to help other people. So it's not that it's just fulfilling and you have wisdom and knowledge, but you're sharing it with others, and that's huge.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Your contributions is really the only thing that remains in the end, When you're over the collecting shiny objects part, at some point in life is what you're giving back, the contributions, how you are sharing. This is what stays in your heart. So that's what you carry with you. And it's a very different way of happiness. It's a very different kind of fulfillment than anything else that you would accomplish.
It's true. When we grow up to be adults and we pay our bills and we have to be serious all the time, and we forget that there's another side of life that's fun, it's fulfilling, and that it's not just about collecting and getting, and it's also receiving and sharing some of the information and the knowledge that's changed our lives that we know could help others. That I think that's what makes life truly fulfilling. For me, I don't know where I would go, but a few different places, and I would see these little red shiny cards that said Health, Healing, and Happiness Las Vegas 2015. I'm like, are you talking to me? Everywhere I go with this card.
All marketing works.
It really does. But it would be in the strangest places, like a little tea shop, or, I mean,
they're in places that I've never heard of. So, I have a whole army of wonderful people that are volunteering, that are crewing the event, and they are just as excited about it as I am. Whole Foods has the flyers in all the 4 locations. They also sell the tickets, by the way. So you can pick up your healing ticket while you're buying your healing food, which is wonderful. So everybody tells me, I see your flyers everywhere. And I'm going, it works.
It does work. Well, the third time I saw you at a networking event, and I go, okay, all right, note to self, when a Health, Healing, and Happiness Las Vegas 2015 is coming up, you need to take note. I mean, it's not a hard sell, is it? I mean, it's really quite simple. Health, Healing, and Happiness. It's a conference. This is the 4th year, so successful conference. Natural solutions for the whole body, mind, and spirit. Who doesn't need that?
And it's coming up just next week, June 12th to 14th. Yeah. Time races.
Time races. So what I want you to do is just give us a tiny, tiny little bit of information about it and keep them hanging. And then we're going to go into a break, and then you're going to tell them what they're going to get from that experience. And personally, anytime there's an experience like that, and you can go, and we live in Sin City. It's getting hot. It's a difficult town, and keeping yourself whole and healthy, to
It's
do
not
the
that
things
easy.
you've got to do. If there's a resource like this in the desert, all I'm going to say is Health, Healing, and Happiness Conference. Might want to take note.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the floor to explain what it is and where,
Yeah.
and where they can call if
Okay.
they need information.
Yeah, so first of all, the website to find out everything about speakers and schedule is just like the name. It's health-healing-happiness.com. But you can call a phone number, which is 702-772-9401. And what we do there, we have 18 presenters on nutrition, fitness, spirituality, and personal development. There will be chefs with demos, healthy food demos, yoga and fitness classes. They're free. Then there is raffle and giveaways in Marketplace. We have wonderful vendors who do mini presentations. You can do amazing health checks to really get tested inside out. You can try healthy foods and figure out they actually taste good. So it's a loaded program. And tickets are available for just day passes or full conference passes.
I
It'll be
say
fun.
go full conference. That's just,
Yes.
that's my
Oh,
opinion.
absolutely.
Go big or go home, go full conference. So we're going to take a break. You're listening to Good Medicine. I'm Holly Davis, and with us today is Ina.
Ina. Yeah.
Ina. It's very different. It's German, so I got to get used to
Yeah.
that. Ina with Health, Healing, and Happiness Las Vegas 2015. So stay with us because she's going to go and tell us about the speakers and what you're going to see at Health,
Oh,
Healing,
yeah.
and Happiness this year.
Yeah, very proud of those.
Welcome back to Good Medicine. I'm Holly Davis, and joining me today is Ina Mohan with Health, Healing, and Happiness. That is next weekend. I've really been looking forward to this. I think I've had this brochure in my purse for about a month.
Good.
Everywhere I go, this brochure
And you
follows
show it
me.
to everybody, right?
I do, and I've plugged it on the show earlier as well, and I put it on my Facebook. I'm like, hello, here's my post. Health, Healing, and Happiness. Does anybody need any of that thing? You know, I know they do. We know that people are, health. That's very important. We don't even have to go into the ABCs of that. Healing, that there is treatment available, even while in sickness, or even prevention.
Absolutely.
And happiness. If anybody were to really take a moment and assess their life and really look and analyze, are you happy? And if not, what are the answers? Have you taken the time to think about it? And if you don't even know where to begin, let me tell you, here's a place where here's a great start.
Yeah.
Here's a great start. And if you need a vacation, if you need a refresher, or you didn't even realize you did, here's an opportunity. So I'm going to let you tell us where, what, how, what we can do to get this.
Well, first of all, it is coming up in just another 7 days, June 12 to 14, at the Tuscany Suites and Casino, and we'll be in the entire Florentine Ballroom. So part of it is our beautiful speaker sessions, and then we have an amazing holistic marketplace right next door with over 60 wonderful vendors. And what we're getting there is the speakers. The lineup is amazing. We have Dr. Joel Furman, America's health coach and PBS TV special celebrity doctor, who's leading a team of wonderful nutritionist science experts. You can do classes, yoga classes, fitness classes. We have a lunch buffet. The lunch tickets are actually closing tonight, so if anybody may not really get it, but I will hold a couple of tickets on the side because the Tuscany is actually doing a plant-based buffet for the first time ever, specifically for this event for me. And I'm very excited about that. So there's a lot of things you can do, amazing raffle gifts, giveaways, and because we talked about happiness, the community. So one of my favorite parts, because this event is becoming so big, people make connections with like-minded others, making new friends, making business connections even, finding all these holistic resources in town. Oh my God, I had no idea there's biological this and that in Las Vegas. And we have gotten on the map. I mean, restaurants are participating, they're changing their menus. They know there's a big movement, a big wellness movement. People are looking for more plant-based options to heal the body with nutrition. So Vegas got on the map in the last couple of years. Maybe had a little bit influence in this because people this year, Holly, come from all over the country, including Canada, to attend this event. So it's no longer just a local affair, which is beautiful to see how it's growing.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
amazing, especially when you see fruit to all your labor and all your hard work, and
Yeah.
then people are really responding. Even the community or even the Tuscany Hotel doing a plant-based menu and the food. So tonight, and food. I mean, food, that's huge. You're going to an event like this, you can
It's
meet
samples,
people.
it's sampling. The chefs will sample food. Yeah.
But then you're going to have a buffet as well.
The buffet is still included in the ticket price, some ticket options, and if I may say so, the tickets really starting as low as $69 for a day pass to $139 for a full 2-day with lunch buffet included both days, which is a steal, and you will enjoy that.
And you know what? I want to say something too, because if someone's listening to that and go, "Oh, I really want to go to that," and if they're thinking about numbers and they're thinking about money, which everybody does. I don't know how you process money.
Of course.
We all do in a different way, but I want to say this, and I say it every day. You have to invest in yourself. Because no one's probably knocking down the door and say, "Hey, I'd just like to invest in you today." You know, do they do that? So you have to be your own hero and your own advocate and your own best friend, and you really do.
Yeah.
You have to invest in yourself.
And I make it very comfortable I really want to make it accessible. That's why we've been doubling numbers almost every year. So I have group packages as well, if people can grab a couple of friends, because my biggest mission, Holly, is to bring as many people into this knowledge, empower them, and have them take away something they want to incorporate in their life. And so I have very nice group packages. They can call 702-772-9401 for groups of 3 or more, because the pricing becomes attractive at that time. The more people, the merrier, and you pay less to come. Isn't that a good deal?
I think that's a great deal. Now, what day would you recommend you do not miss? What is the day that you're most? I know every day is great.
It is so
I know
hard
that's
to
not
pick.
probably fair.
It is not.
I would want to go every day.
Yes.
That's just me.
Well,
That's
let
how
me
I
just
live.
say our leading keynote speaker this year is Dr. Joel Furman. He has been on a PBS TV special at least 3 times. His latest one is called The End of Dieting Forever.
Oh my gosh, just say that one more time.
End of Dieting Forever. And he will be at the welcome reception that we do Friday evening, so you can meet and greet with him. Then he's doing a wonderful 90-minute talk, which, by the way, if we have any nurses listening, is CEU approved. So we can give continuing education credits for nurses for Dr. Furman's talk, which will be Healthy to 100, Anti-Cancer and Longevity Science. And he's one of those nutritionist superstars that has been doing this forever and has a huge following all over the world. He's coming up on Saturday. Also, Dr. Clapper in the morning. He's been in medicine for over 40 years, and he will do a very humorous talk from the operating room to the dining table about a nutritionally aware physician. So that's really, and you'll laugh because it's really fun while hard-hitting at the same time. Brenda Kopp, already mentioned her on Saturday morning, the cancer victor that you don't want to miss. She's also bringing her health scope analysis with her. It's a tool where you can check all internal organs. You can find out if you are compatible with over 100 nutrients and 150 herbs to see what works best for your system. You can do that at her vendor table.
That's amazing.
So those are the highlights, just the highlights on Saturday. Sunday, we have Dr. John McDougall on our annual Skype interview. He is the king of starch. So when people hear starch, they think, "Oh, this is something I have to steer away from," right? And gluten is bad and starch is bad. You got to hear Dr. John McDougall and Dr. Evan Allen on Sunday to get a huge surprise. And guess what? You'll love it, because some of your favorite foods are actually really, really good for you. And we'll explain to you.
You know
how.
what's going in my head right now. Everybody knows. French fries.
Yeah, well, that's probably not
What about
one of
baked?
the starches.
What about baked fries?
Okay, if you make them and make them sweet potatoes, then we're talking.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I can, I'll take it.
Then
I'll
we can
take
do
it.
that. We can do that.
I'll take it. One of the main ingredients of health, healing, and happiness out of the 3 H's that really appeals to me is happiness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge proponent, huge fan, always seeking for myself and for others. I think somehow it's a lost art. When we're kids, we all we want to do is be happy. All we want our kids to do is
They
be
don't
happy.
care. Yeah.
And not, necessarily care. Well, carefree's fine. Carefree's fine. But just living by our hearts again,
Yeah, there's so many good examples. I'm a huge fan for healthy of healthy nutrition, and I'm walking my talk as well. But I know for sure, and everybody knows these people. They smoke like chimneys. They drink a bottle of red wine a day, and they live happy to 100. And I have a lot of these people in Southern Europe, and then we ask why. What is the secret? They're happy. They have great community. They move around. They have the society is caring for them and never lets them down. And then of course you have these people that live very healthy with the food all day long, but they're miserable. They're not connected, no friends, and just worrying too much, thinking too much, grieving, fearful, doubting. So that's why it has to be a good combination. That's why I always say you got to bring all the parts and pieces together. Now, I don't want to compromise on any one part, but since we're talking about happiness, and that is very often underestimated by people, and the emotional healing part, Holly, you probably know, is actually a little bit harder, because that's where we are completely unaware. I have Sheila Z. Sterling at the event. She's talking to us how to tap into the power of your subconscious mind and to attract a life of exuberance and health and wellness. And that is something so hugely important that I really want to bring this to the public as well, to know more about it.
That's interesting. It's riveting. I love that. I love that information. I love that topic because it is true when you analyze different people's lives and why did this person have such a great life, or why is this person so healthy, or what is it? And really, I think one key that we can all agree is really true is not doubting yourself, trusting yourself that you know what you need. You know when you need to drink water. You know when you need to get out of the sun. You know when you don't need to drink alcohol. You know that, I mean, everybody knows smoking, even sugar. We know that vast amounts of sugar. We all know, but it's the doing and listening to ourselves.
Yeah.
That means we have to unplug. We have to stop. We have to assess. That, I feel, is a huge key. And I think this conference is a huge conduit to just that. Taking the time to not only get the tools to know how to do that, but it causes you to have to stop. And if there's a stop sign in your life because of health, or perhaps depression or anxiety, or perhaps you've just come from being unhealthy, diseased, and having something in your life of being sick, and you want to continue to remain healthy, I think this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's this week.
Yeah.
Next week.
Right, yes, in just 7 days, starting
On the
June
12th,
12th, with the welcome reception at the Tuscany Suites.
So, it's the Tuscany Suites. It's on East Flamingo Road, so it's pretty centrally located. The number again is 702-772-9401, healthhealingandhappiness.com, and that's health-healing-happiness.com, and you can register right there.
Yes, and if you do want lunch included in your ticket, I really recommend to do it as soon as possible. We keep a couple of lunches, but we will not sell them at the door, because the kitchen needs to know the counts, so. And
we have to be fair to the
yes.
Yes.
But what you said, Holly, is so true. I like to just give the resources and the tools. And the food is plant-based, which I consider the healthiest. I'm personally a whole foods plant-based. I consider myself vegan, but I never ask anybody else to assume and adopt the lifestyle just because I do it. You need to find what works best for you. And the more plant-based and green and colorful you go, it's usually better. So I no longer compromise on a lot of things, but I know people come from all walks of life, and like me, it took me over 30 years to figure this out. So I cannot judge anybody. So I think that's why people also love to come. They feel very comfortable trying things out, having a lot of fun doing it. This is not a sober affair. You don't talk about sickness all day long. It's not cancer. It's actually solutions. So you get all these great ideas, and then you can figure out where to go afterwards. Now you made a gazillion new connections. You have new friends. All these foods that you tried that you can find here in Las Vegas, all over the place as well. And then you know what to do afterwards. And we will help you. Not walking out of seminar soup and then being left alone. After that weekend, you will still have resources to go to.
Yeah, I vision somebody going to this Health, Healing, and Happiness Las Vegas 2015, and maybe it's an altar moment in their life where things change, where they'll be literally loaded up with resources and tools and information, and maybe even meeting people that, like you said, that are like-minded, who want to be. Who doesn't want to have health, healing, and happiness? We all do. Where do you go? What do you do? It's right here.
Yeah, eye-opening thing. Some things are very, very surprising that you're going to learn at this conference, because we're busting the myth. There's a lot of myth out there, particularly about nutrition. And that's why I'm inviting real experts in their field, but then also people that are a little unknown, but that have such amazing, important information to share with the world. And so you'll be surprised, you'll be astounded, you'll be shocked potentially, but you will feel really, really empowered and very grateful.
I'm interested. I want to talk a little bit. I want to know about what your ideas of health, healing, and happiness, what your expertise is, and what you bring to the table, and what you've made some discoveries. Maybe you can give our audience a little of your information when we come back from the break, because I know that, yes, 70% of our illnesses are all somatic. They come from our thoughts and our mind and how we feel. But I also know that the gut is huge in discovering whether we're healthy or we're unhealthy, and our emotions stem from our stomach. And so I want to talk a little bit about that when we come back from the break. I'm with Ina, and she is, are you the founder? Are you the one you're the organizer, the founder?
Yeah, you can say creator, producer, and organizer.
I love it. All those things of health, healing, happiness, Las Vegas 2015. And we're so fortunate that you're here with us today as our guest on Good Medicine. I'm Holly Davis. Stay with us. Be right back. Welcome back to Good Medicine. I'm Holly Davis. I'm a therapist here in Las Vegas. And joined with me today is a very special guest, Ina with Health, Healing, and Happiness, Las Vegas 2015. It's a huge conference. It's getting bigger every year. It's the 4th annual conference. And what is this conference? I mean, should I say it again? It's really, it is so simple. Health, healing, and happiness for the whole body, mind, and spirit. And so we know that we are multidimensional people. And so if you're working with a therapist and you're getting your emotions under control and you're aware of some of the emotions and aware of some of the psychology is healing the soul, you're aware of some of the things that have caused you pain in your life. And most of us are aware, and we do know. But the keys and the tools to getting ourselves healthy, knowing what triggers us, staying healthy, it's not just about our emotions. Mm-hmm. It's about a whole body approach, mind, body, soul. Mm-hmm. Social, physical, emotional, mental. And so you have to have tools to get every part of that in balance. Mm-hmm. Because if you're doing great and you're not depressed anymore and you don't have anxiety anymore and you have 5 sodas a day, there's, or you never drink water. I've actually had clients that told me they didn't drink
isn't
any
going
water.
the right direction then either. Yeah.
This was my facial expression. You don't drink any water. I'm sorry, this is radio.
I can tell you a lot about water, which is it's insanely important, and we don't know enough about it. How hydration works. When you're actually thirsty, when you feel that you have dry mouth, it already means that your organs are basically starving because the dehydration in the body is already much more advanced. Allergy, asthma, you can, antihistamines that we're pumping ourselves with these drugs. Drinking water, a big glass of water can have a very similar effect from just taking this is something I can go on for a while.
I know, me too, when I get on my tangent about water. My doctor said it's just like your body is a system, and you just need to flush all of the toxins out, and so one part of health, healing, and happiness we know is food is huge, and what we're taking into our body, exercise, and there's some other elements, and I wanted you to explain to us some of the elements that you understood, that you knew that it was so important to put this and make this available for other people through this conference.
Yeah, well, for me it started with the physical portion first, because of as mentioned, my mother passed on of breast cancer. My dad had colon cancer. He survived it, and he became pretty much a vegetarian plant eater. He's growing his own food in the garden. I'm very, very proud of him back there in Germany. And but so I started changing my diet first, feeling so much lighter, more energy, the digestive tract. And then I figured out, your health really depends on your, we talked about it a little bit, your second brain, which is in the gut. So there's
Follow your gut.
Whole brain nervous system, and it's hugely important. And when you think about it, we know how important the immune system is and how everything really depends on it. And because cancer is so big in my family, and there was not just my parents, there were other family members that were afflicted by it. A very prominent naturopathic oncologist told me, if you have a well-working immune system, cancer literally cannot grow in your body. The cells cannot grow. And that really, really stuck with me. And I said, I'm doing everything in my power with, first of all, nutrition. That's part number 1, to make sure I'm I'm detoxing gently every day. I'm pounding myself with greens and the colors of the rainbow and antioxidants. But the other thing is, and that really repairs your gut flora, the good bacteria that are in your gut. And you got to have moving experience. I have to say it. You have to go. Bowel movements are hugely important to be healthy. Women are a little bit afflicted by that they're not letting this move as much as they should. But this is really, really important part of health. And your immune system is only one cell lining separated from your sewage canal, if you will, your intestines, of which we have 30 feet. So it's very, very closely together. So you want to go into the good probiotics. Have apple cider vinegar, have kombucha. I'm not for dairy products. I don't really support dairy products because, they're very highly inflammatory. So you don't want the bad side effects along with the good ones. Even if you do yogurt, yes, it's probiotic, but it has the inflammatory parts. So go with kimchi, fermented vegetables. Do this before you eat. Prepare your gut for food. That's the physical part. And that's something that people often don't understand. When we stress out, and in our society, we stress out about a lot of things. Mm-hmm. It could be little things. I'm German. I drive like a German. I will admit it. So I drive a little fast. Yeah, a little bit fast. But I don't get upset about it on the road anymore, because these kind of little upsets and angers that we have welling up all over the day, they are putting our system into the fight or flight response. And what that does is your hormones are going haywire. You are releasing the adrenaline and the cortisol, and it firms your muscles. But you know what happens at the same time? You are really preparing for survival, but all the other functions stop short. So when you go into this fight or flight and stress response, your immune system stops short. Your digestion stops. Your absorption of nutrients stop. So you ask, how do I know about it? Because I've been kind of studying this thing the last couple of years because I wanted to prevent cancer and everything else.
You know what? I want to say something else that stops too. You stop breathing.
And you stop breathing.
You stop breathing.
No oxygen's flying, So that really sabotages any healthy diet, because you mentioned it, right? And it can also work the other way around. So it has to be a good combination, and we have to be aware of the physical as well as the emotional or mental portions of health. And you can only be on the right path if you combine them all together.
So what would you say to somebody who, just like you said, we live in Las Vegas, and there's people listening all over the world. This is internet radio, and so anybody can tap in and listen. So people who are listening, and you're going to experience where your fists are clenched, your neck is tight, you're clenching your jaw, you're not breathing, and it could be anything. Your crisis might be different than mine. Driving, you might have, slalom through the improvements of Las Vegas and traffic or flat tire, or it could be real things, loss of a job, not getting your paycheck, not, something wrong with a family member.
Yeah.
Real stresses. And we talked about that last week with depression. I mean, there are real stresses. And when things like that happen, do you think in that time, of course, we've just trained ourselves to do what we've always done. We're on that adrenaline rush, and we don't realize how to get down. We don't realize we're in it. And we go to our comfort foods, or we go to the things that are usually unhealthy coping skills. And so how would you undo that? What are some of the things that you started with?
Well, first of all, the breathing is really, really vital. Because your breathing in such a situation gets really shallow and flat and fast. So if you just remember to breathe deeply 5 times, and try to shut off all distractions around you. Just really go inside, shut off the mind, the chatter, the internal chatter, which is important. For me, a very big stress buster is movement. I love movement. I go running every morning because I get really good ideas. I get all this wonderful oxygen flowing through my brain and my muscles. I get the greatest ideas. When I come back from my run, I immediately hit the computer. I'm going to have to write it down because otherwise I will forget it. But the other part of running is you are creating endorphins. So it's, movement is making up to 70% of activation of the immune system. So immune system really reacts on a lot of things. It's like when we say health, healing, and happiness, it will react to nutrition. You will react to movement. It's the only way, by the way, how you are building new nerve cells. So that is also the best way to prevent dementia and Alzheimer and things like that, or to stabilize, and manage if it's already afflicting you. Movement is vital. And it can be anything. You don't need to hit the gym. You can just walk up and down. You can do squats in front of your computer, or get a treadmill desk if that's what.
Come to my Zumba class. It's on my schedule at www.goodmedicineranch.com. I'm a huge believer. I think even just sweating
is good.
Yoga.
You're detoxing and you're moving and you're creating this flexibility with the stretching. It's gentle. Your muscles are warm, so you don't hurt yourself. And the movement is very, very big. But also drink a big glass of water. And the other thing I like is you need to change state. So changing state is vitally important. So when you feel you get very upset and you're grunting and you're getting into this situation, you're building yourself up and up and up. You can break it when you start singing, if you like to sing.
You can't be in a bad mood when you're singing,
right?
Can you?
Cannot. Even if it's a sad song, but you will break state.
I like that.
And that's, it's a very emotional thing. And you need an emotional outlet. And I'm the last person to tell you that you have to suck it up and not, and try to overlook it. Because when emotions well up, they need to come out. The last thing you want is to swallow them inside, where they can foster and manifest into something material.
Sickness.
little tumors, little viruses, and
Headache, stomachache.
Oh yeah.
Migraine.
So let it scream, shout, sing is my favorite part. Rather than screaming and shouting, it's another way to let the air out, clear the air. You create the endorphins, the dopamines, your hormone household changes. It's all depending on your hormones. When your hormone balance changes, you're gonna be in a better mood. And you drink a big glass of water on top of that. That helps flushing and detoxing as well. Move around. Just get up and move in the room back and forth. I love to move when I'm on the phone. So that's a nice break from sitting at the desk. Your phone rings, I'm gonna get up. And I'm also much, much better when I move for talking.
Better, for some reason, it's better when you're thinking. I love all those things that you mentioned, and I share things like that with my clients as tools when you're in those situations. When our emotions are flaring, a lot of times we just escape. We don't want to think about the pain. And so we plug back into the phone or to the computer or social media and all the things that we do. And it is much healthier to have a balanced reaction to those emotions, feeling them. I mean, crying.
Yeah, crying is fine.
Crying is so
important.
healthy. It makes you feel a million times better. It actually releases, I think it's endorphins, is it?
Yeah.
It releases endorphins. So when you cry, you literally feel better. I know breathing makes you feel better. And for me, I like to change my environment as well. I never thought of it as changing your state, but it's true. I change my environment. If I can't leave, say if I'm in the office or I'm at home and I'm there and you're plagued with feelings, and they could come from anywhere. It's just your own thought process, or something really is happening that is stressing us out. And being aware of that stress, and then I change my environment. I will light candles. I garden, go deal with the plants, animals. Children are very healing as well. Talking to a friend, just stopping right there and having lifelines. And I think that's another thing that I really love about this conference is having the opportunity to meet people that are like-minded, that you could talk to, building relationships, trusting, establishing, opening your heart to learning new things. I think is huge. I think it's one of the biggest parts for me for healing is not staying stagnant and continuing to do the same things that we've always done when we feel those things and just getting in a rut. I think moving on and doing discovery like this, or whether the card followed you or you're listening today, or however you stumble upon it, I think if you move on it and do it. If you're thinking about going to Health, Healing, and Happiness Las Vegas 2015, and there's areas in your life that you don't like about your health, that you don't like about how you've been healing, and you haven't been moving in your process,
your state of mind, the way you think,
and your happiness is. If you can't remember the last time you laughed, I need you to call.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of laughter, and by the way, this is just coming up right now. It's next weekend already. God, time is racing. June 12 to 14. I need to mention Chef AJ. She's one of the keynote speakers on Sunday. She's been a comedian before. And she will do a talk on nutrition, but you never know what she's coming up with. She could break into song. She may make a headstand, and she is funny. She's been on the Johnny Carson show originally, So she's a powerhouse of nutritional knowledge. I don't want to be in a depressive environment. So people think, a health conference, okay, it's a somber affair. This is not a somber affair. We're talking about solutions. We're talking about getting you out of the rut, meeting the experts. The doctors tell you what you should know. Then the chefs will cook up a storm, and you can try how health is tasty, actually, and that you can do that, and it's easy to do. And then you visit the vendors, and you can check things out and sample a little bit more. Get on a whole body vibrational machine, do a little Reiki, do a little this and that, and meet the experts and the laymen and the others that are seekers like you. But it needs to be fun and interactive, and joyful. That's what I like to make it.
Well, you said something that makes me very happy, and that's shopping. Shopping? Yes! I want to give this number again, too, because it is June 12th through the 14th at Tuscany Suites. It's Health, Healing, and Happiness Las Vegas 2014. This is the 4th time you guys have done it, and it's getting bigger and better every single year for the whole body, mind, and spirit. And you can register if you want to just right now at www.health-healing-happiness.com, or you can call 702-772-9401. And I encourage you to do it today so that you can make sure that you get the buffet.
Get the lunch included.
Another source of happiness, buffet, shopping.
That's a Vegas-style buffet, and we know what that means. It's huge. It's plant-based. It's good for you. It's all you can eat, and it's part of the ticket.
Well, in our last few minutes together, we're going to talk a little bit more, and we're going to take a break. So stay with us, because we have Ina with us with Health, Healing, and Happiness. Stay with us on Good Medicine. Welcome back to Good Medicine. I'm here with Ina Mohan, and she is the one who had this incredible idea to bring health, healing, and happiness into Las Vegas in a major way. And it's through a conference, and it's coming up next week. And I want to say that the ticket sales benefit 3 Square. What an incredible organization here in Las Vegas. Talk about community and create a change now. So I want to give you a few minutes to really hit some areas that we might not have really got to cover. I mean, you're gonna have to call and get your tickets, and don't miss out.
I know it's a lifetime of information in just a short weekend. In essence, you know what you're getting out of that. You cannot accumulate. You can't learn in weeks and weeks of training and classrooms. That's why it's so valuable. But we talk a little bit about how movement is really important. I have an amazing keynote speaker for the first time. His name is John Pierre. He's on the flyer, and he is the fitness trainer to Ellen DeGeneres, Pamela Anderson, Emily Deschanel, and a couple of other Hollywood superstars. He's doing the Ellen Boot Camp with us for
fun
on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. Just before the speakers hit the stage, he's bringing his own supplies, and that's a very that's like functional fitness. You don't feel like you're working out, but you're working every part of the body, and that's what he does with Ellen. And so he's an amazing, and he is also an expert in cognitive fitness, particularly for the older generation that want to stay fit and prevent dementia or manage diseases, and how important the movement is, and he makes it really, really fun. So he has the class and a talk. He's our closing keynote on Sunday. And I want to mention Robert Cheek. He's not even on the flyer, but he's the founder of veganbodybuilding.com. And he is showing us how to build muscle on a plant-based diet. So how can you be buff and beautiful and actually be a champion, a bodybuilding champion, because that's what he was a couple of times, without putting heavy proteins and animal products in your body necessarily, if you want to avoid the inflammation part and the disease-bringing part of those. So you can work out, you can do yoga Saturday morning. We start the whole thing with a nice gentle yoga class, which is meditative in style, Saturday, June 13 at 8 a.m. And there will be little classes all through the day, but for the first time, Holly, I have all my speakers in one ballroom, so every attendee can see all the speakers. And in past years, they had to switch up and go left and right, and there were simultaneous sessions. Not this year. You get everybody. You get the chefs. We have 3 master gourmet chefs of raw vegan cuisine, and they show us how raw food is so very healing. We call that living foods, food that is actually still alive. And what happens when you put that in your body? You get those live enzymes, and you get the life-giving components really working on every cell. And my favorite part of that is, even if you don't eat like that all the time, if you just start eating a little bit more here and there because you see how easy and fun it is to do, your body will start responding to it. You start losing your sugar cravings and your acid cravings and your salt cravings. And then we have Dr. Evan Allen. I think he's coming on Sunday. He is a local doctor using nutrition-based programs. And he is a lover of starch. And I know we talked about it just in the beginning. And there's this book called Wheat Belly that makes everybody so scared about gluten. You have to listen to Dr. Allen on Sunday because he's going to demystify wheat belly. And that's all I will say. It'll be a very, very interesting talk. People will be really surprised. But the good news about that is you can actually hold on to some of your comfort foods. You just change the type, you know, the version of what you're eating. Shane Stewart and Stacy Dugan are all-time favorite. Shane Stewart is owning the Grassroots Juice Bar in downtown Las Vegas. Stacy is owning Simply Pure in Container Park, Las Vegas. They will, of course, make food for us and show us how good it tastes. And then my very, very good friend, long-term friend, who really encouraged me to take on this event in the first place because I had self-doubts 4 years ago, is Lauren Slocum-Lahav. And Lauren is a personal development and life coach for over 26 years. She's been personally picked by Tony Robbins. Do you know Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker, and his wife, Sage? They picked her personally to run some of the Mastery Series talks for them. So she's been a Tony Robbins speaker forever. And she has a new book out called Chicken Soup for the Soul, Time to Thrive, which has just been all over the news in Las Vegas. So Lauren will hit the stage Sunday morning and give us time to thrive and talk about inspiration, personal development, some of the things we just covered, how important the emotional healing is, how important it is that you believe in yourself. And you know what, Holly? When you start believing in yourself, and particularly your body's inert, organic, natural healing powers that every human has, but tends to sabotage them and listen too much to other people rather than to listen inside what's already there. You can do anything. You can achieve excellent health. You can not just survive but thrive. And that for me is really what I want to accomplish. I don't want people just to barely make it out of the door, holding themselves over water with medication just so they can survive. We want to recover, we want to heal, we want to cure, we want people to thrive. And to not just add life to their years, but years to their life at the same time, both of them. So this is coming up just next weekend. And there's a couple others, I can never really talk about everybody because the program is just so amazing. And by the way, the marketplace where those vendors are, where you can do health checks and samplings and little sessions and find these natural products, is open to the public. So even if you don't hold your ticket, you can still visit your friends at the marketplace, because we want to make sure our vendors get a lot of love and that the whole public is welcome to see them, get an idea what it's all about. And that's why we've grown double in size. So I'm expecting up to 1,000 people this year.
I'm going to be there. I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, I am going, and I can totally believe that. I even feel better now. I already feel better just talking to you. You've been so healing. It feels healthier in this whole room. I feel better. You feel better, JPEG? JPEG.
Different energy.
It does feel better just knowing that there's resources and that there's treatment available and there's help available, there's solutions available. If you've been down, and I know last week we were talking about depression, but it was a hopeful program to let people know that there is healing for a lot of the symptoms that we are going through.
Yeah.
And being aware of those symptoms and knowing that there's treatment available. And some of the treatment, and I recommend highly to all of my clients, is definitely taking care of your mind, body, and soul. And that's what Health, Healing, and Happiness Las Vegas 2015 is all about, is natural solutions for the whole body, mind, and spirit. It is June the 12th through the 14th at the Tuscany Suites Casino, and the number is 702-772-9401. And you really, even if it's too late or whatever thing is blocking you from going, I want you to think of it as an investment in yourself, and at least just go to the vending and just at least and shop and meet people and network. But I really feel that the speakers that you have are phenomenal.
Yeah, or come just on a day pass, bring a couple of friends. The tickets always become more affordable when you bring a couple of friends, because I would love to make it open to as many people as possible.
That's right.
So
Don't
grab your
go
friends.
by yourself. Don't go to Health, Healing, and Happiness alone. Bring some people and tell people about it.
Because it is life-changing, and you will be glad you did. Bring your friends.
What do you think, in just, a couple of seconds here, what do you think is, we're talking master chefs, shopping, exercise, health, healing. What do you think is the biggest aha that you would really like people to get from Health, Healing, and Happiness when they leave? What do you want them to feel?
I think just seeing all the options, just knowing that everything is at the doorstep, at the fingertips. I get all these, wow, I had no idea, emails and messages. Oh my God, my mom is no longer now having to go to the doctor. She's off the medication. And that's the physical parts. But I think my favorite part is the connections, because we talked about happiness a little bit. And just knowing what is possible, what is available to you at little or no money, actually, because you have it already in you. You just have to tap. You have the power, and you're holding the key, and we show you where the lock is, where you put that key in, where you turn it and open it all up. So that's what we're doing. We're offering the resources, the knowledge, the information, and we give you the after, what's coming after. So you're not walking out without a clue what's happening next. You feel very, very inspired and know exactly where to turn to and what to do next, without being clubbered over the head with an extreme diet or anything that we're preaching, because it's your choice in the end, and every person is individual. But you will feel that you have wonderful abilities.
Hey, I like that. Tools, inspiration, Health, Healing, and Happiness Las Vegas 2015. I'm Holly Davis. Thank you for joining us today on Good Medicine.
Thank you, Ollie. It's a pleasure.